always, I won't be afraid. You're with me always, you're with me always. You died and rose and set the world ablaze. Amazing grace, redemption in motion, and I will see you.
What's going on, everybody? Here on a little adventure with my son here. We're going off-roading on our bikes, just exploring the trails and the beauty of this place. I'm gonna find some private place here to talk, because I want to talk about a serious topic today. In the midst of COVID and the quarantine and this pandemic, there's a lot of funny stuff out there, a lot of funny memes, a lot of stuff that has made me laugh, at least. One of the funniest videos I've seen is by Trey Kennedy. It's called Germaphobes. I'll put a link to it. It's just hilarious. But there's also a very serious side to germophobia, especially now where a lot of people are suffering from fear, afraid they're going to get sick, afraid they're going to die. And I think that the toll count is just tens of thousands of people have died from coronavirus. And the numbers in the US are soaring. So let's talk about germophobia. What's the cause of germophobia? Well, I know one could be from my experience in over a dozen years of talking to people who have suffered from obsessive compulsive disorder and don't shake hands. This is way before COVID, way before the quarantine. If that's you, if you're always worried about, like, if the words that come out of your mouth when you're lashing out your kids or lashing out other people is, don't do that, that's dirty. Don't put your toothbrush there, that's dirty. Your clothes, your pants just hit the toilet, that's dirty. I'm giving real life examples from my own life here. That should cause you to sit back and say, I wonder why it matters so much to me that things are dirty. So I'm going to say something that's pretty serious. If you are suffering from germophobia, I'm talking like a real, it bothers you. Everything's got to be clean. Everything's got to be in order. I wonder if you've experienced something in your past that causes you to believe that you live in a world where everything is dirty. One of the subject matter experts in the world on sexual abuse is Dan Allenders. I follow Dan Allenders on his podcast. He was part of a movie called The Heart of Man movie, which is essentially about sexual abuse. And so the psychologists call it CSA, childhood sexual abuse. And one of the outcomes of childhood sexual abuse is an adult that lives in a world that they think everything is dirty. And so if that's you, it might not even be something where you're thinking about that you put two and two together, but I'm sure if you took an honest look in the mirror and you were surrounded with good gospel-centered community that could receive your story without judgment, you would make some sort of connection. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases, it's your past with CSA, your past history with sexual abuse has a lot to do with the fact that you think everything is dirty. And your heart starts to race when you see things that are dirty. Things that normal people, things that the majority of people, it doesn't bother them. Shaking hands. I know there's a celebrity out there that has put a story out there, and God bless him, such courage. Howie Mandel for putting it out there. He's got videos online. Talks about he doesn't shake hands. There's a lot of people who suffer from this. They got to wash their hands all the time because they feel dirty. But there is hope. So if you're one of the ones sitting there and you're being honest with yourself and saying, hey, that's me. I do have some stuff in my past, or maybe you don't recall because you blocked it. I would encourage you to get into some biblical counseling. Get into some counseling where someone can help you get in touch with those wounds of the past. Because adults who have been sexually abused often live in a world where everything is dirty. But there's so much hope. We don't have to live like that. I think Easter is tomorrow. That's the whole nature of the gospel, is that it is good news in the midst of a lot of bad news. And a lot of adults have lived way too long saying, that's dirty, don't do that, that's dirty, don't touch that doorknob, wash your hands, because they've been living under the bondage of the aftermath of just feeling dirty their whole life. And so Jesus Christ died on the cross. He was buried in a tomb for 3 days, rose again. That's why we celebrate Easter. The President announced it on Good Friday, so that we could be set free from all those reactions, all those knee-jerk reactions to dirtiness. I'm not saying when you believe in Jesus that all goes away. I think there's an awareness now. There's a need for the Savior that people who believe in the gospel, they're now aware of it, and now it can be leveraged for gospel opportunities. It can be leveraged to help other people be set free, so they're not enslaved to that germophobia. And everything that was funny on that video, it's funny, but it's not funny because it's serious. So Jesus Christ, the gospel of Jesus Christ is that he died and rose again, conquered sin and death, so that we would no longer be slaves to our germophobia, that we could live life free. And now when I see something and it gets my heart rate going, because it always does, then I know in my heart I could say, I don't have to get mad at that. My kid's putting your toothbrush on the sink there. I don't have to get mad at that. One, they're not going to die. Two, why am I getting angry? Is there things in my past that's reminding me of? And if you want to know my story, man, no problem. We have coffee once this quarantine period ends, and I'll share my whole story, because it's an amazing story. It's a story of freedom and redemption and restoration, and that could be your story. So if you're hearing this, hear me out. Talk to someone. Reach out. If you're in a church, get plugged into that community group and go deep. All right, I'm ending this thing at 7 because 7's a good number. All right, peace out, everybody.